Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Andy Griffith. I'm the founder of the Mind Hacker Academy, where we have two primary goals there, and that is to launch funnels to change lives. But before I really get into what that is, I want to share about how I even got to there. How did I get onto the world of online design, sales, and marketing? Because if you're like me, you might have stumbled into it or realized there's a huge opportunity and you're trying to figure out how to get into there. And so how my journey started, if you don't mind me sharing with you, is back in the day, I used to be a restaurant general manager. The joke now is I'm a recovering restaurant general manager, if you will. But what we had happen to us is we had a coder hold our website hostage. And essentially what it was anytime we wanted to make a change, he was charging us like $50. And literally it's like to change one word. And at that time, I didn't know much, like literally nothing about online design and marketing. But I was like, it doesn't cost $50 to change the word or to change a price of one item. So I really felt like he was just not being 100% ethical, if you know what I mean. So what we ended up doing, it was a family-based business. We fired the designer. When I was talking with the restaurant owner, I just said, I think I can figure this thing out. I not to say that I knew how to quote code, but I was like, I knew that there was some sort of template website builder. So I was like, I think I can figure this out. I don't think we need him. As long as you just give me the time, I believe we can make this happen. Because like literally, I didn't know how to code. I didn't go to school for this stuff. So I wasn't like super techie or anything like that. And, in my mind, I'm like paying this guy, I see people charging thousands upon thousands of dollars. And I'm like, I just wonder if it's really worth that. So I tried to put it to the test, right? And I just thought, there's got to be a better way. And so when I got started, I learned about something called WordPress. Some of you may have heard of it. If not, it's basically a very, quote, I'm going to say user-friendly. There's a big learning curve to that. But for those that don't know how to code, because I'm not a coder. Like if you're like, Andy, your life depends on it, you have to code a website, we would all blow up in the room together if it was like some Mission Impossible thing, because I still can't do that. But I did figure out how to make it work with templates and themes and stuff like that, and there's plugins, and some of that may be a little bit of a technobabble type thing, but I always like to say, like, think of WordPress as like the engine of a car, right? It's what runs it, and then you got your template or themes to it, and those are like the body and the interior and like what color you want it to be. Do you want the spoiler or not? Do you want like the sport clip kit on the hood? That's what your template, the template's how it makes it look. And but it didn't have everything you needed really, and so I had to use what I like to say is called digital duct tape, right? For me to like be able to accept payments, stuff like that, I had to get a shopping cart plugin. For me to do email marketing, I had to have an email marketing software. And so I was piecing like all these little things together to make the thing work, like hence digital duct tape, because there wasn't really all in one type thing. But we did get it online, it was like, it did work. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a little archaic. It wasn't, you look back on what you've done in the past, you're like, wow, I thought that looked good. I don't know if you've ever been there. You look at things you've done before and you're like, that now that I know what I know now, that doesn't really look like that. I don't know if you can relate to that or not. But essentially, the bug kind of hit. It took hold that I was like, man, I kind of enjoy this. It's problem solving. It's design. It's artistic. It just really like scratched the itch, right? I'm like, man, gotta get that fix. What's that fix? So I started a little side business of like, I'm gonna build websites for people. But the thing for me, again, my knowledge was like low. And so usually what happens is when your knowledge is low, your anxiety is high, right? And I had to outsource a lot in the beginning, using platforms like Fiverr and stuff like that to outsource, because until I started to get my knowledge up and my anxiety down, over time I started to be able to take control and do things on my own. But I had to go through this like transition period to get through there. But what I realized is there had to be a better way, because I'm spending so much time on this. And I was like, I just, there was something better, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew that it was out there, but I kept continuing and building. And I ended up switching to just using like one template, because you search templates for like WordPress, you can have a million options. And what I learned was, instead of trying to be like a app buffet, if you will, of what kind of template do you want? What kind of template do you want? What kind of template do you want? I'm like, here's the template I use, and I can make it look like what you want. And because I was going through all these learning curves, because some of the sites, as I built a book of business, I had an e-commerce website client. I had a couple like landscaping, a mechanic, even did some donation websites. So here I am building this book of business, right? And as anything, my skills are getting refined, things are going good, and you're like, man, this is starting to take off. And then that's when like an unthinkable thing happens. It's a moment where I truly felt powerless. My wife got sick, and it just unexpected thing. She was diagnosed with end-stage liver cirrhosis. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with that, but essentially her liver was failing. Um, they were telling that, you start hearing things like she has 3 to 5 years to live. She's going to be on bed rest the rest of her life. And what life is that, right? And these are hard things to hear. We're in our early 30s at this time. Like, this is like, this is not supposed to be happening. And it's those things like powerless. Like, I can't, like, it's not like, what do I need to do? I can just do it. Like, what do I need to do? I can just do it. That was gone because I'm literally powerless. I can't like wave a magic wand and Harry Potter the thing to heal itself and fix. And at that time, I was still a restaurant GM, working for a corporate chain at the time, but I had my book of business of online clients, and I had to make a really super tough call. And that was, I had insurance with my restaurant job, not with my website design. And with what we were going through in that, I couldn't do both businesses and take care of my wife. And I had to let my website design clients go. It was a very emotional time as far as like having to make those phone calls. And I don't know if you've ever had to shut down a business you've started to build, and this is like 2 years of work, and like calling like, hey, I'm going to have to find you all someone else. For me, it was very important to say, if I see you in public, I want to be able to shake your hand. I mean, that was what I kept saying in my mind. Like, if I were to see you in public, I wouldn't want it to be like, well, hey, I have to quit. I have a life moment. Sorry. Good luck. It's like, so I spent time finding them someone who could take care of them or getting them up to a point where they could kind of self-manage. But I just couldn't continue servicing them because a lot of times when you build a site, it's never done. There's always something to change, tweak, fix, update. And so I had to shut the doors to it. And we spent the next 2 years getting her health back. And those were up and down years. I mean, we slept for 6 months in the living room on 2 separate couches because she needed to be kind of like level flat. There's so many things. You don't realize how fragile the body is. But if she lay too much on one side, like her fluids would shift and certain things would swell. It was a very interesting time learning about the human body and how fragile it is and what can happen to it. But over time, we got better. It was a battle. She is a warrior. And as we start to find what our new normal is and getting back on her feet and, through the power of God and prayer, she doesn't need a liver transplant. It didn't happen miraculously, but over time we kept getting better and better results. It went from like, okay, maybe it'll be 10 years, maybe it'll be 15. And then they're like, okay, maybe never, but you got to take this medicine. And eventually she got off all the medicine. It was just like this. I remember the tears on her face when she said, when the doctor said it'd be up to 15 years and she was like, we're going to grow old together. And she like started crying. Like, I don't, that's one of those moments you're like, wow. I mean, you can't buy a moment like that. And that's when I'm like, okay, that bug was still there. Don't get me wrong. Online design and marketing, there's just something about it. I mean, you'll hear me, if you ever see me in like some of the Facebook groups or stuff like that, you follow me online, you'll hear me say, welcome to your new addiction. Cause man, it bit me and it bit me hard. And so I was like, I'm going to enter the game, but how am I going to enter the game? And I saw an ad about ClickFunnels. I don't know if you've ever heard about ClickFunnels. I'd all done just websites, funnels and websites, similar, kind of different. There's a lot of different variances, which that's another video to go into what the differences are. But I saw ClickFunnels and I was just like, this is it. This is it. I don't know how to use it yet, but I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where something's right, but you don't know what you're going to do, like, or how it works, but you're like, this is right. I'm diving in. And so I went all in. I was like, pull out the card, swipe to buy the 6 month, full suite. So I'm like, this is amazing. We're going to be awesome. And I was like, had this plan, like, I'm going to master this thing. I'm going to figure this out. All these people are having success. I'm going all in, and I bought courses, I bought books, and let's be honest, a lot of trial and error. It takes you 10 years to be an overnight success, right? A lot of trial and error. I don't know if you're seeing this, but I'm like, I'm just digesting information. And what happened was it took me almost 6 months to even sell my first thing because I had nothing really to sell. And I had to figure out what I was going to sell. And by that time, all my renewals were coming up. I'm like, wow, I have to spend all this money again just to keep it going. And that's just kind of like, you're putting in the work, right? You're paying, you're cultivating before you harvest, right? You don't just get to plant a seed and harvest. You're cultivating and then harvesting. But what I think what really happened as I look back now to where I'm at from that point on, and I'll connect some of those dots, but is there was just information overwhelm. I don't know if you've been there where it's like, you got this thing telling you this thing telling you this thing telling you that. And you're like, I need to do it all. I need to do it all. But if you're trying to do like 10 things at once, like a hand, how fast can you move out in all directions, right? So it wasn't moving very fast. And I don't know if that sounds familiar to y'all, but what did happen though, over 2 years of working with ClickFunnels, started to click. ClickFunnels, no pun intended. They started to click. I'm like, I'm getting this. This is making sense. My upsells are working. My opt-in pages are converting the way they should. All right, I'm starting to see it now. Instead of being like, oh, it's glorious, I'm like, no. My laser focus is starting to go in. I'm like, ping, like I'm knowing exactly what I need to do. And I started learning how to sell online successfully through that platform. But more importantly, how to make it simple, right? How to make it user-friendly and easy to do, easy to understand. And I don't know if that's something that you would like, but after a couple years doing that, I started looking back and going, you know what? Let's change the game up. It's not so much doing a service base to serve others on the way of like a done for you, but it was more of how do I help others get past this stuff? Because I know I had a hard time, and I was like, other people are probably having a hard time with this stuff too. And so what I decided to do is I took a decade of knowledge. If you think between WordPress and ClickFunnels and just all the research involved, I was like, this is 10 years of my life of knowledge. And I was like, I'm going to just dump it into a resource, right? And this is, we're talking thousands of hours, thousands of dollars spent learning how to make things work. And I was like, how can I give back and help others get through the fog? Because let's be real, it's fog when you jump into the world of online design and marketing. There's no like straight path, right? And so how do I help others? Kind of like the same scenario. How do I bring their stress down and help their business go up, right? How do I get them those same results that I was able to get? And because to me, it's almost like if you think like a circle, like most people just want to go from A to B. Like, I want to go here to here. But what happens is they're going in circles, spiraling out, spending all this time, frustration, energy, hoping to finally hit here, right? So I was like, let's change the game. And so with that, I released the Mind Hacker Academy. And essentially what we're doing there is we're teaching people how to launch funnels and change lives. Because that's the key. We're not building funnels. We're not creating funnels. We're not designing funnels. We are launching funnels, because nothing happens until you launch. Let's be real. You can build, design, create all day long. No value is going to happen for others or for yourself until you launch the thing. You've got to get it out there. And so we are launching funnels. But more importantly, it's to change lives. We aren't chasing dollars. We aren't chasing paper. We're chasing results and outcomes, because that's where the byproduct of that comes back to you. When you help people get to where they're trying to go, because most are either moving away from pain or towards pleasure, with your purpose-driven mission of launching a funnel to change a life, everything changes. Because when you're passionate about something, that's what carries you through the hard moments. That's what gets you through the tough times and over the hills of battles. And so that's what we're doing, is launching funnels to change lives. And how are we doing that, right? It's like, okay, cool. You have, Mind Hacker Academy. How are you doing this, Andy? It's very simple. There's a 3-pronged approach to how we're doing it. Because again, simplicity. Keep it simple. Silly. KISS. KISS. First, it's the Video Vault. And what that is, it's video training, because we all learn differently, and each one of these attacks the way we learn. The first one is the Video Vault, and that teaches you what to do and why to do it on how to sell online, right? What do I need to do? But more importantly, why? What's the purpose? Why do I need to do this thing? Not just the what, but why. Because when people understand their why, the buy-in rate and the understanding go through the roof, right? In any business, whether it's funnels or not, why do I need to do this? We all want to be part of something higher. Why am I doing this, right? When you understand your why, battle cry, baby. And then the next thing is the insider guide. So yes, you have video and audio, right? Because you can listen to it and watch the video. But the insider guides, those are the no fluff cheat sheet gold. Because let's be real, I've bought a ton of books. I'm looking around like looking at books. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that's a good book, but I probably only half of it had the gold in it, and a lot of it is like kind of self-filler. I didn't really need. That the insider cheat sheets cuts through the marketing fog of all that, and it's just the gold of like, here's everything that is important about it, right? Cut through it, because we're all busy. A lot of times when you're building an online business, it may be your primary business, but it could be your side hustle. And so you don't have a lot of time readily available, especially even if it's your main business, you got to run your business too. And so how do we cut through that? Insider guides to get through that. It's just, here it is, what to do, why to do, so you can save time. And then most importantly, it's called the action cheat sheets, because learning, I'm sorry guys, I'm probably going to offend some people with this part. Learning's not enough. You can learn all day, but until you know how to actually apply it and what steps you need to take to get results, how much good has the learning done you, right? Like, hey, I've learned how to do this, but I did nothing with it. Okay, did that really help? Hey, I'm learning how to do this, but I don't really understand how to implement it. Did that really help? It doesn't. And so with the action cheat sheets, that it gives you from the videos and the insider notes, here's what to do in a step-by-step methodical fashion, so you can actually get results fast. So you're going to be learning what to do, why to do it, but the most important thing, how to do it. How do I do it, right? And so that's why I invite you guys to check out the movement that we have going on. It's at digitalmindhacks.com. digitalmindhacks.com, where the Mind Hacker movement's taking place, and you're welcome and invited. We got tons of bonuses we're giving away that are like a founding kit to help you get started fast, right? And so with that, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Please take just a few seconds to like and subscribe the video and comment below. I want to meet you and just get to know you. And if you have questions about some of this stuff, drop them in the comments below. That's what this is for, so we can connect and grow together, because your success is my success. I mean, that's how I literally see it. I'm not successful unless I make you successful within the Mind Hacker Academy, and I want to welcome you to the movement. So check it out at digitalmindhacks.com. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Take care.